Hello, Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to discuss on the topic Plato, and the course title is History of Ideas. As we know that these are the three great Greek philosopher, which is known as the scholastic philosopher. The Socrates is the leading one, and Socrates is the teacher of Plato, and then the Plato is a teacher, and Plato is the teacher of Aristotle, and Aristotle is also known for a great Alexander the Great teacher of his teacher. Uh, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, what they have common, they all are the teacher. They have this scholastic thought, and what they are trying to say, we are the rational soul. We, the humans, are the rational souls, and through the reason, through the intellect, through the wisdom, and we use it. We know the reality of the world. And Plato also says that philosophy begins with the wonder, with the wow factor, with the wisdom, and thinking, which is called the talking of the soul within ourselves. So, Plato has a timeline 428 to 347 BC before Christ, and at the age of 29, when the Socrates died, Socrates left Athens and built his academy, and that academy was remains till 900 years. And he very very interesting fact regarding that academy. He title in front of the door that no one entering my academy who never knows about the never interest in the maths and the geometry. So he has very keen interest in maths and geometry, with the rational reasoning. Okay, well, what are the philosophy of Plato? We begin with that. Plato is an idealist. He's the founder of idealism, and he presented his idea in Allegory of the Cave in his book, The Republic, where he plotted that this world is contained the two forms, the world of ideas and the world of form, and everything is shadow of its ideal form in the world of ideas. That means the things, the object that appear in this world is not the real one, is not the real one. And where the real ideas are, the absolute and the complete ideas are in world of form, like truth, the beauty, and the goodness. In our world, all these are the reflection, all these are the object, and the real concept of truth, beauty, and the goodness lies in the world of form. How these ideas are presented in the allegory of the cave, we will be talk later. There's some historical background regarding the Plato. He started in the academy, which is very popular, and he wrote the book, the Apology, in the name of his teacher, Socrates. His writing style is like a poetic way, is a dialectic, written a dialogues among the different characters and build an argument. So Plato was a poet, and as a result too, uh, Plato means the wider, the broader one, and Plato has very impact on the death of his execution of Socrates, his teacher, and also initially Plato made the Pythagorean thought, Pythagorean school of thought, which is come from the Pythagoras, mathematicians. So Plato has keen interest in maths and geometry as well. Plato established the school in the name of one Greek hero, Academus, the name as the Academy, where he taught about the math, geometry, philosophy, literature, poetry, and many more literature are there produced, and lectures are there. So what was the philosophy about the Plato? Everything is shadow of its ideal form in the world of ideas. Knowledge of the world is limited. Knowledge of the world is limited to a mere shadow of reality. So, the perfection form of everything exists in the world of ideas, in the real world. And his world is eternal. That world is eternal, immutable, where all ideas are innate. That was the perfect and absolute ideas, and we reach to the highest form with our ability of reason, with our intellect, and with our wisdom. In Allegory of the Cave, he's presented the idea that we all are prisoners from the birth, and he presented the theory that in the cave, three prisoners are chained up, and they're never aware about uh, the object and the reality outside the cave, and they believe on what they see. And in the cave, there is a light, there is a sun of light, and there is a fire, and on the wall there is a shadow and reflection of the object, the person himself and the thing itself. The person who are chained up, the prisoners, see the things and make a believe that that one is the real one. It means the shadow and the reflection of that object is the real one. They are never aware about it, the physical object. And afterward, one of the prisoner is free and unchained and left outside from the cave. What he see? He see that there is a large source of sunlight, the beam of light. He found that the beam of light which is travel in the cave has come from that large source which is the sun. And afterward that he uh, found and catch the object with the shadow. But after the certain practicing and observing, that he found that that was not the real one. Object is the real one. Shadow is not the real. And then he will walk away toward the lake and find their own mirror reflection and their shadow, and be afraid of them. And after that, after a certain time, he observed and noticed that it's me, it's my shadow, it's my reflection. And then he observed that the object are the physical one, and the shadow and the reflections are not the real one. He found the reality outside the cave and not inside the cave, and inside the cave is the illusionary one. He went back toward their friends, which are chained up, and tried to demonstrate that idea that reality is outside the cave. But no one is believing that that was true. And one of them say that if I see, then I will believe. Seeing is believe, and one is not then completely negate on that idea that there is no reality behind that. So he is very influenced theory on the allegory of the cave, and he divided that world into two. We have some facts regarding the metaphysics. So, what are the truth and reality according to the Plato? So, you can say that it's a realm of two. That's why we can say that Plato is dualistic. One is world of form and another is world of ideas. And the world of ideas is internal, immutable, where all ideas are innate. The concept of absolute truth, goodness, and beauty are there. And how we can rush toward that? We rush toward the highest form of our soul, that is the intellect, for the reason. And this one, which is seen through our eye as the physical world, there is a full copy of the perfect, rational, internal, and changeless original. For example, if we see the beauty of the flower, Plato said that we see the beauty as an object, but the real concept of beauty is in the world of ideas. It's just an imitation and imitation of the beauty. So we have more argument regarding the truth, beauty, and the goodness. These are the three words in his philosophy, and he say that all truth lies in the world of ideas, and self-realization make you toward them. He say that beautiful person is a copy of the beauty, and he wrote in his book Symposium, and he say that beautiful object moves to the concept of beauty. Beauty is everything that drives from the concept. an absolute form. Beauty has an objective reality, not a subjective one. And the things become beautiful, but through the use of reason. And the philosopher and the reason give them purpose. And beauty has its own existence from changing and moves into the out. So philosophy knows what makes things beautiful for the concept. So in the cave theory, sun is as a source of light and light, and the form of the good is the universe, which is a universal author of all things make beautiful. And form is the cause of essence of everything. It is a copy of the image. It is a real one, and the form retains their own unity as the genus of the species. So mind discovered the form in recollection into the dialectic. And what does it do? Recollections come from the education as reminiscence through the dialogues. So dialectic discourse, the relation of all unknowable division, and that we reach toward the ultimate reality that is non the material. So that was an argument. We say that rational part of the our soul has an faculty to know. What about the epistemology? What about the knowledge? So knowledge of the world is limited with just a shadow of reality, and everything is shadow, which ideal form in the world of ideas. And so the ideas are innate in our mind. We just have to be recollected by the process of education and by the and for the knowledge, in his book, he says that there is some stage and process to become the philosopher king, the dominant one, the ruler. And he told about that fact that initially we teach them to everyone the math and the science, the basic knowledge or skill, and then we teach about the philosophy and then to, about the math science. And then in the age of 20th, we learn about the trading, commerce, and trade. And afterward, at the age of maturity, which is the 30 and the 35, we have to work as a government, as a serve as a public servant. And then age of 35, he worked as a philosopher. He studied the philosophy, and after studying 15 years, he will become a very mature and a wise person at the age of 50. Then he will become a ruler. And those who are failed to study in that area, so he will be stuck and keep remain there. So reality is known through the individual experience and ideas only, and our senses deceive us. So we do not rely, just like a person present in the cave, and the real forms of and real ideas are real ideas are the truth, beauty, and the goodness in intelligible world. While ideas consist of two things: intellect, and another is thinking. And this visible world consists of two: belief and imagination. So keep remember these four words: imagination, belief, AB, and then C, intellect, thinking, and intellect. So you can see that in picture. That chair is an ideal form, absolute one, and all these are the reflection and shadow, the space-time world. And first, which is transcendent from the world of being, from the world of physical being. So that was in immaterial, and all ideas like blueprint keep remain in the world of ideas. So here is a divide line. Four conditions in the soul. The first one, imagining, picture thinking, and the next soul is belief or opinion. When we see the things, just like a prisoner, see the reflection or shadow on the wall and believe that that was the real one. And the thought, mathematical hypothesis, what is or what is not. And finally, understanding, intellect, pure reason. Yes, just here the A, B, C, and D. The A is imagination, and the B is the belief regarding that concepts. The C, mathematical thought, understanding, which is scientific, mathematical, geometrical proof, and D, the last one, the idea, the absolute idea, the perfect beauty, justice, and goodness, which is come from the dialectic thought, come from the exercise of the reason. So A and B is just an opinion. An opinion is not a knowledge, and understanding, and through the use of reason, the ideas are the real one. So two world are there: intelligible world, which is form and ideas, and with the use of maths and logic, and another is sensible world, physical objects and the shadow. So how we can know the shadow and reflections through our imagination, and physical things and objects by our senses, and both things, the intuitions as well as the sensations, are showing the sensible world, and they are the inferior one according to the Plato. So that is the reason that why they don't like the poet and artist, because they use their imagination and intuition there through the sensation. But for the Plato, the artist create the illusion. An intelligible world is known only from the mass, from the reason, from the geometry, from the logic, and the real ideas are there. So, in his book Plato Republic, he developed the dualistic human nature and the world of ideas, the world of and also our body and the soul, immaterial soul and the material body. Immaterial soul has a reason, and material body has the senses. So that was, yes, the previous one was A, B, C, and D. A is an imagination, the initial state. B, the belief, so the intuition, the imagination that we make. A and B is just an opinion. C is the thought, the reason, come from the mathematical notion, mathematical thought. And finally, the reason, which is called the idea, which is live outside the cave, right? So there is a divide line, uh, the shadow showing the imagination, and object of the wall is the belief that we make from, and reflection and shadow is a thought and the reason. So, so what he conclude from that cave theory, uh, we understand the theory of knowledge. We also understand the metaphysics, that the question about the truth and reality. So through this cave theory, what we understand that the prison in cave is known, the shadow on the wall and the fire is the source of knowledge. That was not the real. That was an illusion. That was an imagination, just shadow and reflection. Then they know nothing about the real world, which is live outside the cave, and how they will live, and how they will uh, reach toward the outside the cave, which was the real. So to the reason. So therefore, they suppose the reality inside, and that's how we can apply this theory in the today's world. We are trapped in the digital and the TV and the media world, which is the cave, considered to be the cave, and for the reason, for the use of PT, we try to be the outside from the cave. So fascinating from that idea. So the visible world and the intelligible world. So visible world that seen from the senses, and intelligible world that exists in our mind. So that ideas is also embedded in our mind, which is called the innate, and that idea is the absolute idea, and that comes from the that was the real one, the original one, not in our senses. It is an absolute and the perfect idea and the real ideas. And we are the reflection and the shadow of the real idea. So through the use of mind and the reason, we understand that. So beauty, goodness seem to be changed. The beautiful will be in some point by the point ugly with the use of senses. But through the intellect, this is not the same as enjoying beautiful thing. Each of this has some cause, some reasons. So here is an interpretation of that thing. First, the imagination, shadow, and the reflection. The second, meaning of things. So second section is the objects, the species which can see, touch, and the third section is from the mathematical notions, reason, and the fourth and the final one that is understanding to the reason. So future, if you want to be a future philosopher king, so according to the Plato, you have to be rich by understanding the mathematics, thematic, geometry, and understand the three-dimensional solid subject, astronomy, solid subjects, and motions. So, through the use of dialectic, with the reason, Socratic questioning be the dialectic, Socratic method, the dialectic method. That was the educational stages according to Plato in his book 7, The Republic. First, as at 20 years of age, spent 15 years engaged in intense studies of physical studies, and then returned to the cave at the age of 35 to teach or engage the public about truth and reality. And after succeeding to teach for 50 years, that he will able to rule at age 50. And women can also, according to Plato writing, and ruling women too. Look, I say, don't suppose that I have said applies any more to men than to women, or those who are born among them with educated natures. So it is not necessary that only the men, uh, all those who born with that nature, both those who have an ability. So that was very good. Uh, Now we move on to the value, axiology, ethical, the virtue ethics by the Plato. Plato said that the virtue of justice achieved through the courage, through the wisdom, through the moderation. Um, there are three part of a soul, and there are three part of the ideal society. The one is the soul from the appetite, and the one is spread of the soul, which is called emotion, and the third one is the reason, the rational, the mind soul. So he suggested that those who run for producing and appetizing make them work, and those who work for the emotions and protecting the spirit make them the warrior, and those who use the reason and wisdom make them the ruler who are the governing one. So Plato's views regarding three souls, that human nature consists of three souls, that is called the tripartite soul, the rational soul, the spiritual soul, and the third one is appetite soul. So appetite soul is at the bottom one, that has drive, the lust, drives the thirst, the physical desires are there, and the spiritual one, through the with the emotions and anger are there, and also the courage, the wisdom of the rational soul, the virtue of the spiritual soul is the courage, the spiritual appetite soul is moderation and temperance, and the virtue of rational soul is wisdom. So through the use of wisdom, through the use of rational faculty, we can control our emotion as well as the desire. So man can control his appetite and self-session of spirit through the reason. So that's why the human are the rational soul. Man is the rational soul. Man has a rational soul, and we have to believe that reason controls the both the spirit and the appetite. And he gives this example in that manner that human nature, that charioteer analogy with the charioteer analogy. Here the charioteer is metaphor as a reason, and he has two horses tie up in front of them. One is dark horse, another is light horse. Dark horse represent the desire, and the light horse represent the emotions. appetite can lead us to helpful thing, and charioteer use the reason, the best reason, to control both of them. A person will become a good and a virtuous person whose soul is make balance between the both of them. So, what about the Plato's comment, the ideal form of government? So, according to Plato, the ideal form of state, the ideal form of society is governed by the ruler, which is called the philosopher king, and that concept is called the aristocracy. But for the Plato, aristocrat is not a wealthiest person, not a warrior, but a philosopher, a person who has ability to control over their desire and emotion. So in his teaching, he also say that we should be the philosopher give away their own uh, child, and they also away from the lusting desire and the worldly desire, because they make you uh, weaken and with the passion, with the emotion, and with their relations, you will not be capable to do the justice. So the ruler have an ability to do just, and have an ability to control over their emotion or personal relations. So, but afterward, Plato also consider the ideal form, and understand the forms of government in that manner. One is democracy, which is ruled by the military, as we seen in an Athenian government, in the Spartan one. Oligarchy, which is ruled by the rich, the influence, and the elite one. And democracy, which is the command of the all, freedom and freedom of speech are there. Each person can arrange his own life within the city. And tyranny. Tyranny ruled by the person who ruled for power and the wealth. Tyrant used for power, the wealthy, and the dominant one. So Plato reasons for beginning the imitative art. I also told you that he just liked the art and artist because he believed that art is in creating the illusion and distract from the real world. So he used the intuition and imagination, and intuition, imagination just create the opinion and give the sensual pleasure that was not good, because the real concept of beauty are beyond the our senses and lie in the world of form and world of ideas. So the reason is a good one. So imitative work of art three times removed from the real, and two generation away from the reality. So distract from pursuit of the truth. We believe that. So what was the first Plato write 20 books before his death in 347. The one of the popular book of Plato is the Republic. Now we are going to end the session. I hope you will understand well,